Hello, I'm Dennis Poland. One of my favorite parts about being president and CEO of Virtua Health is getting to know our colleagues and the many ways they are here for good. Each person contributes to healthy communities, and each person has a story to tell. Let's meet one. Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
It's great to see you again. Welcome to Here for Good. You and I have spoken once before, but for the sake of our audience, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Virtua.
So I'm a physical therapist in Virtua Early Intervention, which is a child-based program for kids 0 to 3 years old.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for 5 years, and I've been with Virtua for 3. I actually did a clinical affiliation as a student with Virtua.
Oh, so this has been your workplace home, huh?
This has been my dream.
Your dream? Oh, the podcast or working at Virtua?
Maybe both.
Okay, all right. So you mentioned early intervention. Describe what that is.
So it is an education-based program. We go into kids' homes and we educate the parents to help kids with developmental delays. So as a physical therapist, I help these kids with gross motor delays. So if they're struggling to crawl or walk, we kind of coach the parents on strategies to promote that.
Do you find it's easier for you as a clinician to connect with people when you've sort of been in their home environment and you see all of the other things that sort of help to structure their lives?
You can kind of give them strategies to implement in their daily routine, which makes it longer lasting and just more tolerable. If I've told you to do this exercise 5 times with your kids, that's not going to stick. But if I'm like, oh, during diaper changes, try this. And they're like, okay, yeah, I could do that. That seems more manageable.
Let's get into the story that I remember the most about you, and that involves Penny. If I recall, there was a foster parent that reached out to you about conducting an evaluation.
So it was a foster family that I had previously worked with, and she had texted me because she was like, I have a child who has a diagnosis of SMA, and I need a really good physical therapist.
SMA, what's SMA?
It's spinal muscle atrophy. It's a genetic condition that affects the neuromuscular system, especially the core and spinal muscles.
How did you and Cal sort of help your patient, I would say, get access to the care or better treatment for this condition?
Penny did not get the kind of gold standard of treatment right now is a one-time gene therapy, which she, just due to consents being missed, she kind of missed that opportunity. So I had Kyle look up different research articles of like all the different evidence. He's a scientist, so he was working on a different gene therapy for a different diagnosis, but he was able to kind of look up the current treatments and what was kind of relevant to SMA.
So with this medicine, I understand, is she symptom-free? Is she, sort of developing in a normal way now?
Yeah, she looks totally typical. You would never know. Her diagnosis was caught on newborn screening, which passed in February of 2022, and she was born in March. And then she started treatment right away. So starting that treatment right away is going to prevent any degeneration. And she was born asymptomatic. So theoretically, she has no symptoms. And we follow up every 6 months, which is awesome.
We've all heard of people taking their work home with them. You, my friend, have taken this to a whole different level. So at what point did you and Kyle consider adopting Penny and making her part of your family?
So I started treating her in October. And I remember by the holidays, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, I was bringing it up a lot with my family. I was like, I have this patient. She's going to go for adoption.
Kind of priming the pump.
I was like, listen, I really want to adopt this little girl. She's so sweet and she's so strong-willed. And I told my parents, I told my aunts, and he met her in February because the case just kept moving towards adoption and her foster family was older and couldn't adopt her. And I was like, listen, like come see her. And he was skeptical because of her diagnosis. But I was like, you have to see her. She's
if you just meet her.
Yeah, and then he fell in love with her.
And I know the adoption process is not a simple process, and it takes some time. When did Penny officially become part of the family?
October of this year, we finally finalized her adoption. That was amazing.
Penny is very lucky to have parents like you and Cal. But what is she like? What's her personality? And what are the things that excite her?
She is very strong-willed. She's getting to be very funny the more she learns to talk. And she's very into the Disney princesses, especially Elsa.
What do you guys do as a family? What do you like to do as a family?
We like to camp, and we have 2 dogs, so we like to take them on walks, which now that Penny's walking really well, she thinks she can walk them too. We ride bikes, and she has a little bike seat that goes on the front of my bike, so we can mountain bike with her. I love photography too, so I love especially taking pictures of her.
Well, that's great. So it sounds like she's doing well.
Yeah, really.
And later on in life, is there any concerns or anything that you have to watch out for?
So she's followed biannually by her neurologist to kind of see any signs of weakness. The treatments have been around only for 5 to 7 years, so they don't really know. But those kids who had gotten the treatment really early haven't shown any signs of kind of degeneration, so they kind of seem to halt their progress of where they're at.
Help me understand a little bit also the psychology of being a clinician, a therapist, taking care of these vulnerable kids. I would think it would tug at your heartstring. It would just draw you into each and every one. How do you, as a therapist, make sure that you remain sane in the process because you see so many kids with such need and you can help, but you can't adopt everybody, right? How do you sort of work through that as a clinician?
Early intervention is unique, and we have like long-term treatment plans. So we see kids for our goals are set for 6 months. So I feel like especially going to the home, you have a really good relationship with the family. I get like text messages of pictures, like, look at what they did. It's like 9 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Like, and I'm like, that's amazing. And I was a cheerleader growing up, and I'm like, I'm still a cheerleader in my job every day. And I'm like, you guys can do it. And just kind of pointing out the good. Some kids make progress slower than others, and some kind of you're just halting the progress and just like, okay, look at that little thing they did, and pointing it out to the family so they can recognize that good.
Do you find that your colleagues that work in the same space that you do sort of approach things the same way? I mean, I'm even struggling to sort of figure out how you could be so giving and not have it to just draw you in sometimes to make it difficult to go home at night.
Yeah, sometimes it's tough, and sometimes kids really do not like physical therapy.
Really?
Yeah, it's hard.
So it's not just us adults.
No, they don't like it. I have a kid that I see, and I walk in, and he cries, and by the end, he's laughing. So I don't know why he does it. Well, I just know I'm doing my job, and I'm pushing him to kind of do better. And I know it's hard. I don't like to work out either, but I do it. It makes me better. So
I think it's more than you just doing your job. I think both you and your husband really represents the best of us. And I can't thank you enough for everything that you have done for and with Penny and just giving her the type of life that you guys are affording her. And just having you as one of our colleagues is special in and of itself. So thank you so much for being a part of this. This is one of those wow stories. I really enjoy just hearing about the wonderful things that Jamie and her husband Kyle have done and will continue to do for Penny. So please join in next time as we hear another incredible story from one of our many colleagues here at Virtua.